Hello everyone, welcome to the video. In the last video we created one Spring Boot application and deployed it on the AWS EC2 server. And in this video we will try to convert our application to the Docker containerized application and will upload it on the EC2 server in the form of container. Okay, so this is the architecture which we are planning to achieve. We will access the application using application load balancer, and our application will be deployed on the two availability zone over the ECS service which is provided by the AWS. Okay, so but before going to the this complex architecture, we will do the one simple things. We will upload our Docker image on the EC2 server and will access it directly using the server IP address. Okay, so these are the steps which we will follow. That one first step will be the hello world Spring Boot microservice, and will configure the Docker file for the containerization, and will make the Docker image. Will push the Docker image in the registry, and will launch the EC2 instance and install the Docker in the EC2 server, and run the container in the EC2 instance and access the application. So let me show you the our hello world application, and in this application I have just created one simple request mapping, and this request mapping will print just that host details as a output. And in this application I created one Docker file. So Docker file is used to convert this application into the image, and in this Docker file I have mentioned three commands. So from command will use just for the base image. I have used the OpenJDK 17 version with the Alpine server, and after this next command is the copy. So copy command will copy this jar into the Alpine server, and the entry point will run the jar. Okay, so let me run the application in my local system to show you the result in my local system first. Okay, so 9595, and this is the result from my service. So it will just print this host detail over this as a result. Okay, so now let me build that run maven install, because we need the latest jar for the Docker file that will be converted into the image. To run this Docker file, we need Docker installed in our server, and as well as in our local system as well as. So server in the sense like AWS EC2 server, and in the local I have installed the Docker desktop as well as the Docker client and server in my local system. Okay, so first that jar is created, and this is the latest jar. Now let me go to the our application, and let me show you Docker container ls. Currently I do not have any container running in my system, and as well as image also I do not have any image. So let me build the image. So command is docker build docker image build -t. T is used to give the tag. So AKT Goel 21 and my image name hello EC2. So AKT Goel 21 is my Docker repository ID. So when it will be useful when we need to push our image into the Docker Hub. So Docker Hub work as a repository for the Docker images. We can use other repository as well as like ECR and Hub. Docker Hub is the primary one for the Docker Docker containers, even though we can use ECR as well as. So there are other repositories are also available in that over the internet. So let me build the image. Oh, sorry, I missed to give the path. So dot means build that image from there. So now it will start building the image. See the instruction what I mentioned into this Docker file. These are executing now. First it download the Alpine, then copy command triggered. Now the entry point command will also mention in the image. Okay, so my image is ready. Let me see the image. So I have one image now. So I can run this image now using the docker container run -p. So p means publish, and we need to mention the port number as well as the port of host and the container. So let me use it 8585 colon. My application is running on the 9595 and 9595 and the name of the image. So this is the image name, and we need to mention that tag as well as by default it will pick the latest, and I do not need to mention other things since this is my default latest image only. Let me run that. Yeah, so my image is running now. So it is up and running. Now I need to access this my application using the 8585, and this 8585 will kind of map our request to the 9595 where the container is running. Okay, so let me access the application first. Localhost 8585 slash hello. So yeah, I'm getting the output from my EC2 container. So let me open the other command prompt as well as, and we'll show you the list of container, docker container ls. You can see the 3c 1b 1b ID of my container. Now request is coming from my container. It's not from the my local system as well as my application. I will stop that. My application is not even running and I'm getting the response now. So now everything is working in my local system, and I need to push the image into the Docker Hub repository now, and then we will pull that image into the AWS EC2 server and we'll run it from there. So let me go there and push the image, Docker image ls. Okay, so Docker image push and the name of the image. Okay, so it will push the image into my Docker repository. Currently you cannot see any image right there since everything is removed. Once it will push the image, that image will start occurring there. Okay. Okay, so I can see my image there and it also completed. Now next step is I will go to my AWS console and will launch the instance there. Test EC2, and I will use the Ubuntu for this. We can use Linux as well as. Okay, so I will go for 4 GB memory at least, since Docker we need to install the Docker as well as, and it required memory there. I do not need to log in using the SSH, so I will skip that for now. Network setting I will not touch. Will allow the HTTP at least, and will keep every other things default, and will launch that instance. Now once the once the instance is launched, we need to install Docker in this in the EC2 server. Then we will pull the image from this Docker repository. Let it complete first. Okay, so server is running now. I will connect it using this EC2 instance connect. Okay, we can connect it from our local system as well as. Let me check it again. Connect. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so now my system is up and running, and now let me check the Docker whether it is there or not. Sudo Docker. No, it is not there. So I will install it using the command. I will share the link of the command. I got it from Docker documentation. Okay, so last is to get install the Docker. Yes, we want that. Okay, so let me check whether Docker has installed or not. We can check the Docker version. So Docker is installed, CLI and the server both are installed there. Now let me show you the images. Docker images ls, no images are there, as well as container, as well as not even the container. So we need to run the container in this our EC2 server, and using the same kind of command which we use in our local system. So sudo docker container run -p. So p again for the port number. So let me use anything 9090, but our application is running on the 9595, so we need to use the 9595 only. And image of our image we can pick it from there. Let me close it. Okay, so let's suppose if we have multiple version of our image, so we need to mention the tag in the last, like 1.5 or maybe other thing. But since we do not have any other tag, we do have only one latest tag, so we do not need to mention it. We can keep it default, and we'll just enter that. Okay, so first it will try to find whether we do have image in our local or not. So since it was not able to find the image in the local system, so it will start pulling that image from there, and by default it is trying to fetch from the ECR Docker repository. If we need to mention our other repository, we can configure that, as well as we can create our own ECR, as well as like repository, Docker repository we can also create. So our application is running on 9595, and we can access it using our server IP. Let me open it, and the port number we gave it 9090. Okay, I will close them. http://9090/hello. Okay, so it's not going to work. It's because of the port number which is not mentioned in the security group. Let me show you that security. This is our security group. Let me go there. So currently only in the inbound route only 80 and 22 port is open, not that 9090. So I will update that rules. We'll make the custom TCP 9090. Yeah, it's 9090, and make it available from everywhere, and save the rules. And if I try to access it again, see, at the same time, at as soon as I configure the security group, I got the response from there. So again, the address of this the random number which is coming, it's our container ID. So you can see the container ID there. Even let me show you from our EC2 instance also. I will create another connection. Okay, yeah, so sudo docker container ls. So it created 2 minutes ago and listening on 9090 port, and it's configured to 9595. Okay, so this is our container id. And not only the one, we can create as many as container we want on the server based on that our server capacity, whatever the memory and cpu we have taken when we initialize the server. So let me create another one just to show you. Sudo docker container run -p, and previously it was on 9090. Let me run on 9195 colon 9595, and the image name again I can copy from there. And where is that? Yeah, so this time okay, this time I will run that server in the detach mode. Detach mode means it will run in the backend, and yeah, that way. But this time it was keep running and showing us the log, but in this case it is running in the backend. And let me let me show you the container list command. So I do have two containers now, the one which is created just 9 seconds back, and let me try to access it from 9191 now. Sorry, what is that? 9191, yes. 9191. Okay. I need to enable 9191 as well as add custom TCP 9191 0. Even you can configure all the rules there, all the TCP and all kind of all the all configuration, all traffic. But this is not recommended, and I am mentioning my port number which I need as I mentioned there, so it should work now. Yeah, I got the response, and this time I'm getting the response from 3.1 container. So my 3.1 container is should be this one. So this is my 9191 container, and let's suppose if we need to check the logs of this container, we can check it using sudo docker container logs 3.1f. Just need to pass few character of the container ID. So I got the log from there. And if we need to check that all the details of our container, so we can check it using the inspect docker container inspect what was that, 3.1f. So it will give me all the details about my container, like ID and the jar which it is running, as well as few details are like the data and host name, as well as the Java version, that environment files which we mentioned there, and the jar which is running there, and the network driver bridge. So I will make another video on based on that network. So this is very important topic about the network. So whenever we create a container, it creates backend in the virtual network, and it download the image, and so many things it perform in the backend. So I will make another video to cover the network part. So my application is running there, so I will go to the file. So this part is completed. It's a kind of a small step to achieve this part. So in the next video we will cover the ECS service, and we'll deploy our application on the ECS. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. Happy learning. Thank you. Bye.